When people are finally shooting back at Antifa tards, even in Portland, you know things are getting really bad. For Zangling and salutations, my lovely little lunatics. It's me, your friendly segment Insanity, here with my co-host Bob.
Hello.
And today, on the Insane Report, there has been another shooting in Portland.
What happened this time?
Apparently, a bunch of quote-unquote protesters who were actually armed decided to go around and do what Antifa do best.
Terrorize?
Exactly. And then one homeowner decided they had had enough, and everything's kind of wishy-washy, as it always is with Antifa. But anyway, before we do that, make sure to like and subscribe for more insane news. Also follow us on Locals,
Rumble,
Minds,
Bastion,
Getter,
and Gab.
Also, if you're feeling really generous, donate to our PayPal or Bitcoin or Ethereum. Also, we're setting up the Patreon and subscribe. Anywho, so, as we all know, Portland's that kind of place where you're not allowed to defend yourself, but Antifa can go on and do whatever they want. Like actual riots, and there will be no problem against them because they're Antifa. It's so awful.
It really is. So what were they protesting about this time?
This one actually is a big thing, the Amir Locke thing.
Oh, wait. That was the guy who the police knocked in his door. He was sleeping on a couch. He had a gun on him, and they shot him.
Yes, that is true, which I do believe. This was actually a huge screw-up on the police's part. But, as we all know, Antifa will take anything, any reason, any day to protest.
Peacefully, of course.
Yes, peacefully. Just like that one time when they were in the middle of the road and the one guy wanted to have them leave, which of course they all had rifles. They pointed their rifles at his car. So he pointed his gun at them, they drug him out of the car, and then they beat him.
Suddenly I understand why the homeowner actually stood up for himself.
Exactly, but let's just jump into it. Bam! From the Daily Mail. Woman is killed and 5 people are wounded in shooting at Portland Park during protest over police killing of Amir Locke. A woman was killed and 5 wounded in a shooting Saturday night at a Portland Park where people had gathered to protest the police shooting of Amir Locke. Police responded to the incident near Normandale Park in northeast Portland just before 8 p.m. on Sunday. Arriving officers found 1 woman dead and 2 men and 3 women were taken to the hospital, cops say. Their condition is not immediately known. As you can see, shots fired. But continuing on. So, this is from Red Voice Media. The scene was extremely chaotic, and a number of witnesses were uncooperative with officers. Give me a second. Boop, boop. There we go. With responding officers. Most of the people on the scene left without talking to the police. Typical Antifa.
Isn't that what happened with the Proud Boys?
Yes, the Proud Boys actually went and talked with the police, while Antifa ran away, which that's why the Proud Boys got arrested. Detectives believe a large number of people either witnessed what happened or recorded an incident as it unfolded. This is a very complicated incident, and investigators are trying their best, trying to put this puzzle together without having all the pieces.
Sounds like Antifa.
Does. Remember Chaz when they shot up that one van like crazy? And then when they realized it was teenagers going for a joyride,
they took all the ammo?
Yes, they shot hundreds of rounds into this thing, killed 2 kids, and then we're like, Continuing on. The shooting apparently occurred during a planned demonstration dubbed as Justice for Amir Locke. An individual who was fatally shot by police earlier in February, Minneapolis, Minnesota, during a controversial no-knock warrant. Once again, this is happening in Portland, not over there, because they know they can get away with things. Hibbity-bibbity. It's unclear exactly why I don't care. Yeah, it's exactly unclear why a fatal shooting that occurred roughly 1,700 miles away from Portland would spark local demonstrations because they can get away with it. But the greater Portland area has established a sort of penchant in recent years for demonstrating and even rioting in their own city in response to incidents occurring in other states. I mean, just look at 107 days of riots where they were trying to burn down buildings.
Oh yeah, was this the place?
I think it was. It's been so long ago that I honestly have gotten used to the rioting.
That's actually quite scary.
It really is. The lack of witnesses' cooperation cited by Portland police officials in their release statement is hardly shocking, as journalist Andy No pointed to various Twitter posts from notorious Antifa personalities that were urging people online not to talk to the police and delete videos and live streams that could be used as evidence, and here they are. This is from Andy No's Twitter. He took pictures of their Twitter and reposted them. I don't think anybody needs a reminder to not talk to pigs today because the pigs made sure to brutalize the survivors moments after the shooting.
You mean the people that also shot?
Exactly. Remember, not only do they probably agree with the action, some would have done it themselves, given minor motivation. As we grieve together and our hearts break together, remember that the state is watching us and that we aren't safe to detail our experience on socials as much as we want to. Please, I just want to have people pay attention to me. Please. Keep photos, videos, and first-hand accounts to a minimum so that you don't receive a knock.
Like in Canada.
And then, of course, this was taken out. Take this shizzle down, dude. Which was probably something that people actually saw. Thank you for deleting the content that could get us in trouble. Anyways, continuing on. So, the police tried to have a press conference, but of course that didn't work because Antifa ain't having none of that shizzles. Portland Antifa halts press conference after protest shooting leaves one dead. During a protest in Portland on Saturday night, one person was killed, blah, 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 blah. A woman was pronounced dead, yada, da, 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 blah, 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 I don't care. A woman was pronounced dead, blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to get to one thing. Portland police believe the shooting was a result of a confrontation between an area homeowner, who turns out actually was black, and an armed protester. The scene was extremely chaotic, blah, 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 and once again, all the pieces. Andy No, last night there was a mass shooting in Portland at Normandale Park where armed Antifa and far-left militants were gathering in direct action. One female is deceased, yes. The press conference was called not long after the disruption. Actually, wait. On Sunday, Antifa militants shut down a police press conference because, once again, they can't have actual evidence and things coming out, so you gotta follow the narrative. That was organized to provide information on the shooting. As Lieutenant Nathan of the Portland Police was providing update, a woman jumped in front of the microphone and started ranting, "White supremacist! White supremacist! Let me say this to this black man!" The masked woman claimed that the Portland Police were kidnapping Antifa members who were armed, and I remember when I went to Portland, I was told by the lady who was running the Airbnb I was at that I could not carry the knife I had.
Oh yeah, a little folding knife. We weren't allowed to have that.
No, because if I got in trouble, I'd be thrown in prison. But now Antifa can walk around with rifles and pistols and all of that. The masked woman claimed the Portland police were kidnapping Antifa members and even said the Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler was white supremacist to stand back and stand by. The press conference was called not long after the disruption as Lieutenant Shepard was leaving the event. Antifa militants surrounded his car and continued to yell obscenities. Yes, yell obscenities at the black man. Yes. The black face of white supremacy. The crowd routinely called Shepard, who is a black man, a white supremacist, in an attempt to block his car while he tried to exit. He should have run them over. And once again. But. Yes, okay. The police, so yes, the Portland police, 1 of 5 was killed, blah, 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 blah. The police believe the man acted alone and is not affiliated with any particular group. This is going to lead into my personal assessment of this situation. The protester who shot back at the man who was initially arrested on assault weapon charge, but will likely be released due to charges dropped, the newspaper said. Okay, Portland was rocked, blah, 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 by anti-racism protests, which is, they're just racists. The city has a magnet for clashes, yes, so on and so forth. So, you want to hear my interpretation of the whole thing?
Please go ahead.
A bunch of armed Antifa-tards show up in your neighborhood. As we have seen before, when they burnt down the same house twice, when they came to the lawn of a man who had no idea what was going on, and one guy was saying, "He has kids in there!" Blah, 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 pedo. What'd the dude do?
What'd he do?
He pumped his shotgun in his own home.
And?
The police came and arrested him.
Of course they did.
Yes, they did, because it's easier to arrest that one man than the mob. So, Yes, then there's also all the wonderful stories about the quote-unquote peaceful protests we hear about the Antifa tards. I mean, what about the one time where the guy just walked up to the dude in the truck and just shot at him? What about the one time when the guy walked up to the guy, we got a Trump here, and put 2 in his back? What about the one bartender and his son, and the bartender's son pulled out his gun and tried to, it was like, get away, get away, get away. The guy jumped on him, wrapped his arm around his neck, nearly killed him, and eventually the guy finally shot the guy attacking him, but then they wanted to charge him for 15 to 25 years, I think, in murder, and he killed himself. What about the Austin thing where they walked up to the car of the guy and the guy had an AK, pointed it at the guy in his car, and the guy shot him? All of this is good old what you get from the Antifa tards. So, I can see an individual who sees this protest show up around his neighborhood in a park next to his neighborhood, something like that, and he comes out going, no, you will not do this here. And while he probably shouldn't have gone out there with a gun, if they were armed, which, I mean, they took evidence, they were taking evidence, they were picking up bullets and all that stuff, yeah, I seriously doubt that this man who, the homeowner is the one at fault here. Because here's the big thing. I live in good old Texas, where if someone starts something, I'm allowed to finish it. And I believe with all of my heart that knowing these Antifa people, knowing the stuff I've had to deal with these Antifa people who have threatened to come to my house and murder me, that this isn't above what they would do. So if they pull their guns and they start threatening him and all that stuff, we'll do what we want to do, and there's nothing you can do about it. And we don't know. There is no video evidence of who shot first. It's just the Antifa people saying, oh, he shot first. Which, once again, I don't really believe, but I don't have the evidence to disprove otherwise. But
through the past and all the experience before that.
Yes, exactly. So, this is once again... It's once again, you don't see anything about the homeowner, what specific race they are. There have been several things that the race of the homeowner was black, which is, once again, the kind of big reason why they're not pushing the homeowner as a white man, because you know they would if it was. And it's just at that point in time, so many people tell me, well, it's not going to get violent. This isn't going to happen here. It is happening here. How do you not see that? Which is also a reason a bunch of people I know in Texas have finally started arming themselves. I know several women who have come to me, their moms, their sisters, all of them, and I help them find a gun that they can use. I help them teach them how to use it, because they now realize things are getting that kind of bad. And it ain't gonna stop. I mean, because once again, go look at the truckers up in Canada. No, they got to pull emergency powers now for them. They wouldn't do it if it's BLM, and we all know it. If BLM was walking around Canada like the way, just walking around with guns, they wouldn't do anything. And that's the scary thing about it all. They don't care about you. BLM and Antifa are used by the government to a point to get them to allow them to have even more control. Because here's the whole thing, if I lived there and they came to my house and they tried to attack me and I shot them on the street, I'd end up just like every other person who's tried that. Oh, you're going to prison. Whereas Antifa and BLM, they just get pulled out. What about the one guy who literally went and murdered, what was it? Oh God, trying to remember. He went and tried to shoot a potential senator. Oh, BLM throws $100,000 at him and they get him out. Despite the fact that we don't know where the $60 million that they still have is gone.
It really is clown world.
It really is. Which is, once again, why I personally believe anyone moving from any of these states to any of the red states should not be allowed to vote for at least 5 years until you've acclimated here. Because you just move over, you want the tax breaks, and then people come over. I remember one guy was from California to Austin. He was like, it's so red here. Oh, I'm moving back to California. It's really, really hilarious, but also really, really sad.
And it's just gonna get worse.
Yeah, just wait till the news starts up all over again for the new stuff for Biden, hoping that the Democrats actually are able to hold something and the Republicans don't just steamroll them. Anywho, that'll be the end of this little video. If you like this video, then check the like button and subscribe for more.
Insanity.
And I will see you all later. Bye, everyone.
Bye.